What up, YouTube? Back with another video. You know the channel Hustlers Never Die. I want to give you guys some pointers and some tips you'll be able to use for the rest of your life. So as you see in the title, we're talking about leasing versus buying. Now, I don't know where the misconception of buying a car was so much better than leasing a car came from, but I want to dispel some of these myths right now. 'Cause even right now, I lease vehicles, all right? And the reason why I lease vehicles is because I'm educated on why leases are better, all right? Well, let me change that. Leases work better for me opposed to buying vehicles, all right? So real quick, a lot of people try to clown on each other about leasing vehicles, and I don't know where that came from, all right? The average person buying a vehicle right now will trade that vehicle in the next 2 years. So what would be the purpose of you paying for a vehicle when you're just going to trade it in for another vehicle in the first place? All right. So buying a vehicle, I'll tell you, a lot of you guys get into these purchases of vehicles and you guys mess yourself up in the beginning. And here's how you mess yourself up. You don't pay for your tax and license in the beginning of the car deal. All right. You go in zero down in your car deal and you end up financing the taxes and the license and registration for the vehicle. So let's just say it's a $50,000 vehicle. All right. What would be a $50,000 vehicle? Maybe like a GS 350. Well, they don't even make GSs anymore. I think Lexus got rid of the GS and now they're just going with the ES version. So $50,000 vehicle, you go zero down on this vehicle, meaning you have them throw everything into the deal. Okay. Tax and license and registration is about 10.5% of the vehicle, right? So 50,000. Let's just say you're going to roll over another 5,500 onto the deal. So you're going to pay 55,000 and some change for this vehicle. You might even want to add on some extras like for instance, you might want to get an extended car warranty on this vehicle. Now, they're going to charge you $4 or $5 grand for an extended warranty. All right. Now, just so you know, all of this stuff is negotiable. You might not know, but car warranties, all the extras are always negotiable in finance. So just be aware of that. So let's just say you're going to put another $5,000 onto this car deal. So let's say we started with 50,000. Now we're at 55,000, right? Tax and license. Now you're going to put in the other 5,000 for the extended warranty. You're at $60,000. So you're paying this car note, and I'm telling you people, a car note on a $60,000 vehicle is going to be a hell of a lot of money. All right. Now you're going to look at, all right, so look at it like this. All right, let's say you're going to do 60 months. They have these different loan terms you can go for these vehicles. All right. You got 36 months, 48 months, 60 months and 72 months. So, you know, you do the math, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, 6 year. But the average person is going 60 months on their vehicle. Now, you divide that up, right? You divide these car payments up. Divided by 60, you're going to be paying $1,000 a month for this vehicle. All right. So here's what you have to take into account for. Every time you pull this car out of the driveway, you're losing money on this vehicle. I'm sorry, people, but when you're buying a vehicle, this vehicle, I know you guys have dream cars. I'm sorry, you have dream cars and vehicles you worked hard to get. But when you drive that car off the lot, you are instantly losing money on the vehicle. So essentially, you've just bought a liability. All right. So here's how you can get yourself in trouble with this. All right. So let's just say, OK, you like your vehicle. Everything is cool. You financed everything. You don't have any equity in the vehicle. And I'll be honest with you. When you go to the car dealership, they're going to run a KBB They're going to run history on it and do, they want to find out how much this car is worth. Now, Kelley Blue Book is like industry standard. So they're going to run numbers on this vehicle. Now, mind you, you're already up what they call upside down. You have negative equity into this vehicle. So not only are you losing money on the actual vehicle, but you haven't paid anything towards tax, license, and registration, and you're financing the extended warranty. So let's just say 2 years goes by, and now the new version of this, let's say they changed the body style of this vehicle. Now you started off loving this vehicle, but now they got the new one, right? And I'm telling you, people, when you at the light and somebody pulls up in that brand new, sometimes you feel some kind of way, right? Now, mind you, they might even have the same car note as you, but you weren't prepared. You weren't prepared for this new version to come out. So now you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I want to trade this vehicle in, and I'm going to get the new vehicle. All right. And this is how you guys get yourself in trouble with this. All right. So you go to the dealership and you say, hey, I want that new version of this vehicle. What am I looking at? Mind you, you're going into this with negative equity. You don't have any, you don't have equity in this vehicle. So you repeat the steps you did the first time. You don't really put any down payment on this. You don't pay for tax, license, and registration now, and then you want another warranty. Now, fortunately, you can cancel warranties, right? If you don't pay all the way through it, I want you guys to know you can cancel warranties. All right, but there's always fine print, so look into that. All right, so you want the new version. All right, and same thing, no money down, but then they book your car for a certain amount. When I say they book your car, that means they appraise your car for a certain amount. So you've had the car for 2 years, right? You've been doing a lot of driving, right? So when you bought the car, it was worth 50. They booked the car out, right? They appraised the car. They tell you this car is only worth $35,000. All right. So not only, okay, so let's look at this scenario. They tell you the car is worth $35,000. All right. So mind you, you pay 50 for it, but then you want to go into, all right, let's say the car is worth $35,000, but let's say you might owe $40,000 on the vehicle when they appraise it, right? So that's how you become upside down. All right, the car's worth 35, but you owe 40. What are we going to do with that negative equity? You know what they're going to do? They're going to roll that negative equity into the other vehicle. Add on another 5,000. Remember, you didn't pay tax and license or registration on that vehicle that you're in. So that's another 5,000. So now altogether, we're looking at $10,000. They're going to roll that negative $10,000 into the new vehicle. Okay. So look at it this way. You're in a new vehicle. You're not putting any money down. You're getting an extended warranty for the new one. Plus you're adding on an additional $10,000 into your vehicle. Now, I'm telling you, people, this is how you end up with these crazy payments that you can't afford because you started off wrong. You approached this from a negative equity perspective. So look at my way of doing it. All right. I love to lease vehicles because in my head, I want to get the new version of this vehicle every 3 years. Plus, I want to drive with the peace of mind. A lot of these car manufacturers, when you get the leases of this vehicle, you're covered bumper to bumper warranty for the entire duration of the lease. Okay. So that's why I like to lease, because I don't worry about the vehicle. Okay. I love leasing BMWs. BMW has a program to where you don't pay for anything for the vehicle. When I say anything, you don't pay for the oil changes. You don't pay for anything if something's wrong with the vehicle. So I like to lease with BMW. But here's the thing. Another reason why I like to lease with BMW is they have high residuals. Now, in case you don't know what a residual is what the industry determines of what they think the vehicle will be worth at the end of the lease. Okay, so let's just say I lease a $65,000 BMW, okay, for 3 years. Now, at the end of this lease, they think this vehicle, according to their calculation and their studies, they think this vehicle is going to be worth $36,000 at the end of the lease. All right. Let's let this plane go by. All right. So BMW has come with a predetermined number that this residual is going to be high at the end of the lease. Now, the reason why you potentially want a lease with the high residual, because that's going to dictate a low payment. Okay, there's certain car manufacturers that lease really well, and there's some that lease like crap. I'm sorry, people, for the most part, domestic cars lease like crap. That means like your Fords, Chevys, Jeep, you know. Now, you could lease those vehicles, but they have very low residuals. The car really isn't worth crap at the end of the lease, so they're going to make you pay these high car payments in the beginning because the car isn't really worth crap. So understand, high residual, low payment. All right, low residual, high payment. So domestic cars, the American cars, lease kind of crappy. Now, there's other cars that don't lease very well. Here's what I do know. BMW has a great lease program. Lexus, Mercedes is like, eh. But when you start looking at, if you want to look at an Audi, for instance, an Audi, let's just say a $45,000 5, right? What is it? I think an A5. All right, it looks really nice, but I'll be honest with you. On the inside of an Audi A5, it's like bare minimum. I don't even know if do they have backup cameras in Audi A5s? I don't know. But the bottom line is that car doesn't lease very well. So they try to get their bread up front, okay? Audis don't lease that well. But, I mean, if that's what you're into, you do what you do, okay? But I'm into what leases well, what works better for me. Back to the lease. I'm always trading in my car every 3 years, all right? I'm probably on my, I want to say maybe 5th or 6th lease. So I'll give you an example of a car leasing very bad opposed to a good car lease, all right? So I want to say mid 2000s, 2007, I leased a Charger, a Dodge Charger. Now, the Dodge Charger on paper was only like $35,000, right? But I had a plan. This is why I really wasn't worried about if I had a great lease. I was building my credit, so I wanted to show the bureaus and anybody else. I wanted to show the banks that I was responsible and I could lease a vehicle. So I let them tax me a little bit, but the beginning was, my thought process was, I want to buy a house, so let me do this lease, okay? I decided to lease it, and you have to pay taxes monthly on that lease. And so, they run those commercials, and they say, lease special $4.99 plus tax, and there's small print on that at the bottom that you probably can't see, right? The most they try to give you is like $10,000 a year. Now, if you're moving around and you're trying to get, let's just say you work 20, 30 miles away from your house, then the weekend comes, you like to drive around. A low mileage lease is not going to work for you. You're going to go over your mileage. And here's the problem with the low mileage lease or going over your miles. They're going to tax you on it. So let's just say it's already predetermined. Okay, let's say if they give you a 12,000 mile, the average person drives 12,000 a year. That's 1,000 a month. Okay. So, but if you go over that, when you turn that vehicle in, they're going to dock you for that. They're going to charge you about 20 cents a mile. And it doesn't seem like a lot in the beginning, but when you go and add those miles up times 20 cents, you're going to be in trouble. You might end up on an extra $4 or $5 grand on top of that when you turn the vehicle in. So beware of that. If you have to commute a lot, then a lease might not work for you. Okay, now that's the only time where I would tell you buy the vehicle. If you're gonna dog the vehicle out, you're moving around doing a lot, then buy the vehicle, because you don't want to have to worry about the mileage when you go to turn the vehicle in. Okay, so but for me, if you're kind of like local, you're just moving around doing your thing, you do your thing in the city, then the lease might work for you. We were talking about certain vehicles that lease well. Some of them don't lease as well as others. Another little gem just to give you guys. I know you might not know about this, but I just want you guys to win. All right, that's why I'm giving you this information. This is shit you can use for the rest of your life. All right, so people, I hope you like the content. I'm trying to bring you something you can use for the rest of your life. You might not know about this stuff, but I've dealt with this for 20 years. All right, so I just want to share this stuff with you guys because I want you to win. All right, I want you to get to the bag. I don't want you to end up in debt when it comes to buying or leasing a car. It could be a liability or an asset. All right. Now, as far as like assets go, I mean, I will buy a classic car. If you're trying to gain an asset, deal with classic cars. But as far as buying $120,000 Beamer off the lot, I mean, if you could do it that way, fine. But if you're gonna do it, man, lease it. You're gonna want something in a few years anyway. Don't tie your money up into that. I see people out here with these $1,600 car notes, and we all are going to the same destination a lot of times. Now, if you can do it, and if you're not missing it, man, more power to you. You know what I mean? That's fly. I think you should live it up. You can't take this when you're gone. You know what I'm saying? I just want you to win and make the best decision. But moving forward, I hope that you take heed to what I'm saying. This is how you move. I don't know where we got this from, where the dudes clowning on the people that lease vehicles, like, yeah, I got the pink slip to the vehicle. Hey man, having the pink slip to a vehicle that's steadily losing money, I mean, if that works for you, man, cool. But don't get on the people that want to lease the vehicles. They don't stay fresh, y'all. You know what I mean? And they're not gonna worry about if the vehicle breaks down on the side of the road, and they'll be in something new too. All right, so like, share, subscribe. You know how we doing over here. It's Hustlers Never Die. And until we meet again, peace.